Hello everyone, I'm Amir Hossein. Welcome to this training video. In this video we see how we can modify and tailor a WRF input data over a specific area of interest. The area of interest in this video is a rectangular bounding box. The WRF input data which we are going to modify in this video are domain files and emissions files. Okay, let's start. The application name which we are going to use for this purpose is called WRF tailor. So for downloading WRF tailor, let me show you its GitHub page. In your browser, search WRF tailor. I also provide the link to WRF tailor in the description. So we're going to clone this application. I clone it. Okay, and I navigate into WRF tailor directory. Inside the WRF tailor directory, we have a name list and the code for running the application, and this is the directory which contains modules and other codes of the application. So for modifying the input data, we need some WRF input data. I just copy it from here. I copy some WRF input data here. WRF input data are as I told you, are domain files and some emissions data for WRF chem. So I'm going to start with these domains files, and I'm going to before that, let me open one of these domain files. Inside of it we have several variables. Let me show you the first one. This is let me open the parent domain. The first one, which is albedo, you can see that this variable, it has 4 dimensions: time, month, and coordinate variables, south, north, and west, east. So we are going to modify or tailor, let's say, the 4th or 5th month. So it has 12 months, but we are going to modify this variable for the 5th or actually 6 months, because the indexes start by 0. So the 0 index is the first month, the second month is the first index, and so on. So let's say if I want to modify the 6th or modify the 5th month, I have to see at the 4 index, the variable at 4 index, at index number 4. So I'm going to reach something like this. I have prepared this image in advance, so I'm going to specify a bounding box, rectangular, something like this, and I will specify its latitudes and the range of its latitudes and longitudes. So I close it and I open the name list. Inside the name list you have several different sections. The first section is associated with WRF input data. You need to specify the paths to your WRF input data, and other sections, each of them are related to one task. The task which we are going to use is this section. This section is related to bounding box. So in this section we can specify the geographical region of the bounding box and the variables which we are going to modify or tailor it. So the variable is albedo. I'm not going to change it, but I'm going to multiply this albedo by 5 and add by 1. So I multiply it by 5 and add it by 1. And the geographical region, the north latitude, let's say 37, the south latitude 35, and I'm not going to change longitude. Longitudes are okay. So I save it. Before that, make sure that the section is activated and other sections are disabled. Be sure that other sections are disabled and this section is activated or enabled. So I save it and I run the WRF. Before that, something that I forgot it, your input data. You have to put the paths to your input data. I copy the path of my input data here. Copy the path and I go here. I remove it. I remove the previous path and I copy the new path and I change it to number 2. So this is the parent domain and this is the subdomain. And if you have more nested domains, you're supposed to add them here. And up until 5 domains, 5 or 4 subdomains, or up until 5 domains at all are supported. And the number of domains here is 2. We have provided 2 files here, 2 domain files here, so I specify the number of domains equal to 2. I save it and I run WRF tailor. Okay, domain 2 has been tailored, domain 1 has been tailored. Before that, it's better to copy your files because these files will be overwritten. So it's better to copy it. If you need it, if you think you will need the files in the future, it's better to copy it or make a backup of them. I open it, albedo, and you can see that albedo has been changed, but for the first month. This is for the first month. I open the nested domain, and also for the nested domain you can see that the same area in the nested domain has been tailored or has been multiplied by 5. The other month has not been changed, only the first month. But we could modify other months. We can change other months here. If I change this variable, target variable, if I change this target variable to number, for example 5, it will be the 6th month in the file, or the month June in the file. And for the substitute variable, in this time I want to multiply albedo by 3 and plus another variable erode minus 0.1. This is my equation. I wanted to substitute albedo by this equation in the month number 5 and over this area. I will not change this area. This area is okay for me. So I save it, and before that let me copy the files again because the files have been changed. So I copy the original files and I run the model. There is some problem here. Just read the warning message. Variable substitute name has 2 variables, but variable substitute levels has 1 value. Open the name list, and this is the problem. Here we have specified 2 variables as the substitute equation or substitute polynomial, but here we only have specified 1 level. So albedo for the month 5 will be replaced by albedo multiplied by 3 plus erode minus 0.1 at levels. This is the levels. For example, for the first variable I put month number 7, and for the next variable for erode, erode is also a 4-dimensional variable. For it I use number 1. So number 1 is the first level of erode. Let me show you erode. Let me open the file again, and here erode has also 4-dimensional time, dust erosion level, and coordinate systems. So dust erosion level, it has 2 levels. You should specify either of these 2 levels, 1 or 2. Okay, for albedo, for the substitute variable, the first variable, I specify the level as number 7, so it will be the month, the 7th month, and for erode, the first level. I save it and I run it. It has been run. Open number 2. Albedo, the first month has not been changed. Second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, and it's changed. 6 months. This is the month number 5, so it has been changed. It has been tailored exactly in the bounding box, in the rectangular bounding box that we specified in the name list. I open parent domain for albedo, first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month. You see the bounding box has been changed. And how it has been changed, it was changed by multiplying albedo multiplied by 3, as far as I remember. Was it 3? Let me check that. Multiply by 3 and plus erode minus 0.1. It has been changed by polynomial like this, and you can change it to whatever polynomial you like. And also you can change it to constant. I will show you in the next example. So in the next example, I'm going to tailor or modify some emissions data. I copy my files again because it has been modified. Copy the files again. So I have 3 I have 3 emissions files for the parent domain, second domain, and third domain. I copy the path to the files in the name list. I open name list and I remove the previous paths and I put the new path here. I have 3 files, number 2, domain number 2, domain number 3, and the first variable I have 3 domain, so I change it to 3. And I go to the section modify by bounding box. Let me check what we have inside this emissions data. Inside this emissions data we have let's say emission NH3. This is an emission file. So let's say I want to modify or tailor this emissions data over that region. So I go to bounding box section and I put ENH3, but in this time I just want to put a constant, so I can do it like this: ENH3 multiplied by 0 plus number, let's say 100. So it will make it 0 and adds number 100 to it. So all the area will be a constant value, will be the constant value of 100. And this variable is actually a 3-dimensional variable. Let me show you again. NH3 you can see it has time and 2 coordinate variables, time south, north, and west, east. So it has 3 dimensions. So for a 3-dimension variable you don't need to specify an exact value. Just put a value, any value here. 7 is okay, but it should have a value which associate with that variable. Here we have one variable, so it should have a value which is associated with that variable. If I have other variable here, let's say plus something else, I should add another value here which displays or shows the actually associates with the levels of the second variable. And also for the next variables, if I have third variable, I should have third level here. For each variable I need to specify a level, a value for its level. So I just remove it, I run it. Okay, something is there is a problem here. In name list, emissions variable level, or ENH3 in name list is 5 variable level. It should be between 1 to 1. Okay, that was a mistake from my side. I should, if it is a 3-dimensional variable, it should be always 1. This variable is a 3-dimensional variable, so the target variable level, it should be always 1 for a three-dimensional variable. Also for this one. Okay. Now I run it. Okay, it has been run successfully for cam number 3 NH3. I open it. Range, let me change the range to something number 5 maybe. Yeah, you can see that all the values inside this area, inside the area of interest, has been set to 100, but the other values, other grid points, they have the original value. They have not been changed. Let me open the second domain here. Second domain for variable NH3. Yeah, inside the second domain, this area of interest has been modified or tailored, and its constant value 100. And let me open the parent domain, domain number 1, first domain. And this is the first domain. Just let me set the ranges to a good value. Okay. And this is the parent domain, and we can see inside this parent domain this area has been modified, and the value is 100. So by this method you can tailor or modify any area of interest by a rectangular bounding box.